If you're scrolling through another endless list of blenders, wondering whether you'll finally find one that actually works for your kitchen without turning your budget into a black hole, I get it. You've probably had that moment where you picture the perfect smoothie, soup, or sauce, only to remember the last time you bought a professional blender and ended up with a noisy, underpowered machine that could barely crush a frozen banana. The fear of wasting money on the wrong tool is real, especially when you're juggling a home kitchen, a side hustle, or a small catering gig. That's why before I hit the record button, I dug into the Waring CB15BU commercial food blender, looked at the specs, checked the product listings, and thought through the kind of everyday scenarios you might face. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of work this blender is built for. Waring is a name most of us associate with commercial kitchen gear, and the CB15BU lives up to that heritage by offering a 120-volt motor, 3 speed settings, and a pulse function. In practical terms, that means you're getting a machine that can handle both gentle emulsions and more aggressive chopping tasks without needing to constantly switch out containers. If you run a small coffee shop, a food truck menu, or even just a busy family kitchen where you make a batch of soup every night, the ability to quickly ramp up to high speed and then dial back to a slower setting can shave minutes off your prep time. On the flip side, if you're only looking to make occasional smoothies for yourself, that commercial-grade power might feel excessive and it could lead you to over-process ingredients you'd rather keep a bit textured. One of the practical strengths of the CB15BU is its 3-speed control. Most entry-level blenders give you a simple low-medium-high approach, but the added middle speed on this model gives you a sweet spot for things like pesto, hummus, or a medium-thick salsa. I've seen home chefs use the middle setting to keep nuts from turning into paste while still achieving a fine grind. The pulse function is another tool that shines in real-world use. Think about those moments when you need a quick burst to break up a stubborn chunk of frozen fruit or to give a sauce a final swirl without turning it into a puree. The ability to hit pulse twice in quick succession, as the motor allows, can be a subtle but real time saver during rush hour prep. Now let's get into the trade-offs that often hide behind the headline specs. The CB15BU is a commercial-style unit, which means it's heavier and bulkier than the countertop blenders you might have on your home counter. The base sits on a sturdy metal frame, and the container itself is a sizable, clear polymer jug. That design is great for stability, no wobbling when you crank the speed up, but it also means the blender takes up more countertop real estate. If you have a cramped kitchen or you're looking for a portable option that you can store in a pantry, you'll need to measure the footprint before you commit. Additionally, the motor, while powerful enough for thick mixtures, does draw more electricity and can generate a noticeable hum at the higher speeds. If you're sensitive to noise or you're working in an open-plan space where the blender's sound could disrupt conversations, you might want to consider that factor. Who should definitely consider buying this blender? First, small business owners who need a reliable, heavy-duty tool that can run multiple batches back-to-back without overheating. The 3-speed dial and pulse give you flexibility for a range of recipes, from smooth pures for soups to chunky dressings for salads. If you're a serious home cook who frequently makes large volume sauces, soups, or frozen desserts, the CB15BU's capacity and motor strength can translate into fewer batches and smoother textures. Another niche that benefits is the health-focused chef who likes to incorporate nuts, seeds, and frozen fruits into daily meals. This blender can handle those tougher ingredients without stalling, which is a common complaint with lower-priced models. On the other side of the equation, there are clear reasons to skip this model. If your primary use case is making single-serve smoothies or occasional protein shakes, you'll likely be paying for power you'll never really tap into. The bulkiness and louder operation may feel unnecessary, and a smaller, quieter personal blender could serve you just as well. Also, if you're looking for a blender with a built-in heating element for soup, something that's become a trend in a few newer models, this unit won't meet that need. And finally, anyone who is extremely budget-conscious should compare the price point here with other mid-range blenders that might offer a similar speed range but with a lighter design and a lower price tag. Let's talk durability and maintenance, because those are the hidden costs that often get glossed over. The CB15BU's motor housing is metal, which means it stands up well to the occasional bump or kitchen traffic. The jar's clear plastic is BPA-free and dishwasher